Camping is something everyone wants to enjoy at least once in a lifetime. However, the truth is that not all the campsites are perfect for camping. Some places are so bad that you'd want to give them a big fat 0. So how do you avoid such places? By knowing about them, of course. In this video, we'll tell you about some places you must avoid when camping. Let's get started. First off, stay away from places that are too wet. It's not like any one of us would go into a swimming pool camping. It sounds cool though, but no matter how amazing it sounds, you need to stay away from it because that's just the devil trying to ruin your camping experience. Apart from a swimming pool, we suggest you keep your distance from every place that's wet or has a chance of getting wet. You can easily recognize such places by the boggy and marshy ground, and the most prominent sign, the grass. Yes, the grass and its condition will tell you where not to camp. Any area that's too near a river or lake, or something that looks like a river island, would be the worst place for you to set your camp. It may look very Instagram-worthy, but how would you get perfect pictures when your campsite is wet or drowning, and you can't set your feet in one place without slipping in the mud? That'd surely make some meme-worthy pictures, if not Instagrammable. The same is the case when camping on the beach. In fact, it's worse than the river thing. No matter how waterproof your tent is, it's going to get you wet, not in a good way, whenever a high tide arrives. And if you're still convinced that we're just trying to keep you away from the water so the sea doesn't get polluted, then you may want to wear waterproof clothes and wrap all your belongings in waterproof sheets. But, how will you waterproof the campfire? In short, just stay away from water when camping. Keep a safe distance from any water body near your campsite, and you're good to go. Oh, and don't go camping in some rainforest either. Apart from all that splish and splash, some dangerous animals or insects might come for your flesh. Next up, you need to avoid places where there is a chance of you getting roasted by a lightning bolt. Just as you need to avoid places that are too near the water, it's important to avoid any places prone to getting struck by lightning. For example, any place that's secluded and is higher than the ground. The weather and elements of an area have a lot to do with the level of danger present. Places where lightning storms are regular should be avoided when camping. You'd especially need to avoid the highest point on that landscape if you somehow end up stuck in a lightning storm. In the most unfortunate scenario, if you really get stuck in the highest point of the landscape in such weather, move from there as fast as possible. If you can't simply go back home or at least get a safe place of hiding, place your tent in a lower area, but make sure it's not a place that'll turn into a stream later. You really don't want to get wet, as we said earlier. Some places are actually very famous for the most lightning strikes. You may want to put them on your avoid list. These places include Maracaibo Lake in Venezuela, Caceres in Colombia, Cahuzibiega National Park in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Apart from that, sometimes people camp under lone trees, which, once again, are efficient attractors of lightning strikes, meaning you need to avoid such trees as well. So make sure you do your research before finalizing your camping spot. You'll also need to set your camp away from the campfire. We've no idea why we even need to repeat this so often. Keep your tents away from the fire. A safe distance between the fire and your tent is very important. Every year, several campers end up with severe injuries or even fatal accidents due to the non-existent distance between the fire and their campsite. It's always a good idea to avoid any place that's too near the fire. Some campsites may have the fireplace already in situ, but even that doesn't give you the benefit of the doubt because there's always a lot of space where you can set up your camp and stay safe from the fire. Not having a safe distance and the wrong direction of the wind are literally the biggest dangers and horrors of camping. The thumb rule is to keep a 40 feet distance when pitching the tent. Also, make sure you don't retire for the night until the fire is burned down. And of course, the illegal places. Yeah, well, you can't really just pitch your tent in the backyard of the Kardashians and think it'll go by just fine. Alright, we'll leave out the Kardashians. We think if a tent is put up, slept in, and nobody knew that a tent was put up and slept in and then put away without a trace, that only means that no one ever pitched a tent there. But honestly, you can't really go with that adage all the time. Some places are actually not safe for camping, so ensure that you're not camping in areas where it's illegal. However, if you're too desperate and really want to go stealth camping, also known as wild camping, at a specific place, you may want to ask for permission from the owners. But if that's not possible and you believe that the area is safe, then you may choose somewhere discreet and operate according to the leave no trace rule. But we're warning you, if you get caught, arrested, or sued, that won't be our fault. We already warned you, didn't we? Also, whatever you decide to do, ensure that you're away from any live firing ranges. We won't like to lose a viewer. We love you guys. Trust us. Furthermore, gorge camping is also not very suitable. Honestly, gorge camping is something we personally don't like. The risk of getting stuck in a flood or non-stop rain just gives us chills. This is why we always suggest the campers not to opt for such places. However, if you must, then take some precautionary measures before pitching your tent. Firstly, you need to check the weather conditions in that area. If there's any rain, we'd say cancel the plan. But if the sky is clear and the weather broadcast says no rain, then you may continue with the camping idea. Then you need to find the highest point possible on the landscape. By the highest point, we mean the highest the flood ever reaches in that particular gorge. There you can pitch your camp. Know that flash floods move very fast fast, so if there's even a slight chance of heavy rain, decide some other place, and you'll be good to go. No, exposed ridges aren't a good idea either. Hilltops, exposed ridges, or any other area which is subject to frequent storms should never be on your camping list. Places like exposed ridges often attract thunderstorms, and trust us when we say they are scarier than the ones we witness in cities. In fact, it's not the heavy rain that's the problem. The real issue is that the wind keeps building up around any solid body present on the ridge, just like your tent. It'll blow hard against it, and you'll surely start thinking you're in some camping horror movie. Not just that, the sound of the wind is horrifying if all that fluttering of the tent and the fear of it flying away isn't enough. Lastly, don't try camping where you have no access to some shelter. Camping is all fun and games, but when some problem hits, you may need to run to some shelter. Don't go to places where you can't take your car with you. Why? Well, cars are one of the safest shelters you can find during thunderstorms or lightning strikes. It's not because they have wheels. Instead, the car body can work as a Faraday cage. If lightning strikes, the electric current will only move through the car's body and won't harm anyone inside it. Other than that, your car can save you from hypothermia as well. But don't turn on the heater and close all the windows. Make sure there's some way for the oxygen to get in. Keep your windows down a bit. Make sure there's some building or a rest site near the campsite. This will allow you to hide in there if things go wrong, or a killer starts chasing you. Some of the unsafe shelters can also be opted for, but we suggest going for the ones we mentioned before. But if there's no other place to go, you can find shelter in picnic shelters, gazebos, or outhouses. In case there's no safe place, move out of the tent and find a dry ravine or depression. Make sure you don't stay under tall trees or other tall objects. And this is pretty much it. Let us know what you think about this video in the comments below. You can also share any personal experiences that could be helpful for other campers. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more amazing videos soon. Till then, stay safe and keep camping. Goodbye!